Hi, this is BQ Prime. You're watching us here, the World Economic Forum's annual summit. I have with me GV Prasad of Dr.Reddy's laboratories, a conversation that's important not just because we seem to be seeing the back of this pandemic, but also because health has become center stage for all nations, all employers, and all citizens across the world. Mr. Prasad, thank you so much for joining us
Thank
here.
you for having me.
Let me start with a broader question on the priorities that are being discussed in a meeting in a setup like this with regards to health, and also what you're picking up with regards to the broader economic outlook across the world.
So the conversations seem to be focused on three major issues. The first one is, of course, health. And there are a lot of conversations of how to prepare for the next pandemic, how we can, as various countries and companies and public sector come together to be better prepared compared to the past.
Sure.
That is the first topic. The second topic is about climate change. And companies, how they can move towards being net positive, carbon neutral, and also do what is necessary to meet the broader planetary goals. The third area is around, I think, digital, which has always been there since the last several years. Cybersecurity, digital, and of course, geopolitical issues that have now become center stage.
Yeah. You haven't mentioned supply chain issues.
So
That
yes,
has been gripping businesses across the world,
yes,
first exacerbated by the pandemic,
yes.
and then the war. And I'm sure companies like yours are also facing the same challenge.
Yeah, supply chain security has also been a big issue,
Right.
and that's part of the geopolitical conversation.
Has there been a big rethink on your end, Dr.
So,
Reddy's?
fortunately for Dr. Reddy's, the supply chain has not been such a big issue.
Okay.
We were well prepared. We planned ahead. We have inventories, and overall, this has not caused us a lot of damage. Of course, the chip shortage is causing problems for other industries, but not for us.
Okay. But raw material costs,
Raw material costs have
cargo
gone up.
delays, all of that,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So
But
all of that's feeding into
yeah,
the final outcome in terms of both financial as well as time to market, and also impacting consumer demand at some level.
the costs are a significant issue. Freight costs have gone up. But over the last couple of years, we've improved our supply chain efficiency, and we do a lot more by sea than by air. So that has kind of offset some of the cost increases.
Okay.
But overall, freight is not a major component of our cost. So we are okay.
All right, fair enough. I think the question you get asked most frequently, and I'm going to do the same and ask you, is in the mix of countries that contribute most significantly to your top line,
Yeah.
do you see the share changing dramatically? I know you have a fairly robust pipeline when it
Yeah.
comes to, for instance, the US.
Yeah.
So what is your forecast for growth there, despite the pricing pressure that you faced, which in the last quarter you said, the declines were in double digits?
Yeah, so the price pressure in the US is here to stay. That's not going away.
Not going away.
So we counter that by lowering our cost structures,
Okay.
by launching products which have relatively less competition, and find other business models. When we're early in the cycle of exploring the third item, which is new business models.
Right.
But cost structures, efficiency is an ongoing process. Launching new products which will take part of the which will offset part of the cost pricing pressure will be there. And then, of course, we try to make up some of the pricing, the loss in value through increased market share.
What do you mean by new business models?
New business models could be branded business, specialty business, or could be direct to consumer business or OTC business, things like that, which are not completely commoditized by generic
So
competition.
are you in early stages of this?
Yeah, we're very early. We're still in thought stages.
Okay. Yeah. So do you have, how would you guide us in terms of being able to understand, given the robust pipeline, and given that you have now calibrated costs to the big price decline that we're seeing in the US, what kind of growth would you expect over the course of the medium term in the US market?
The US market will remain a challenge for all companies.
Okay.
It's not going to change overnight. Our efforts will be to launch a larger number of products which will have lower competition, and that will start playing out in the next years or so. But overall pricing pressure will continue. But we have started focusing a lot more in India and other emerging markets, which are not subject or prone to pricing pressure, which are branded markets.
Right.
So we've kind of reallocated some of our resources there, and that is helping us in maintaining our growth and profitability.
So that brings me to the next question, which is, you see India then becoming a bigger contributor to the revenue pie?
Yes, if you see in the last few years, it has been steadily
That's been the
increasing, and
trend,
we've been
yes.
doing inorganic growth. So
And both that strategy will continue,
that will
organic
continue.
and inorganic.
Yes, yes.
What are you looking for in terms of inorganic? What kind of how do I put it? Specialties are you looking to acquire?
So we're looking at the chronic segment.
Chronic segment.
We want to bolster our presence in the chronic segment, cardiovascular disease, metabolic disorders. But we are also looking at any brand franchises which will be a strategic fit for us.
Okay. So what is the goal you've set for the kind of contribution India should have to the revenue or top line, given that the US is going to be, at least in the medium term, a very challenging environment?
So India alone is not going to take that off. India and emerging markets and our other businesses together will contribute. In India, we are looking at a double-digit growth, market-beating growth, and open to inorganic opportunities.
And what's the kind of money you've put aside for inorganic opportunities?
So we are a cash-positive company. We have $200 million on the back.
No, I'm just trying to understand what kind of size of acquisition are you looking at?
So I can't guide you to that granularity, but we certainly have financial flexibility. We have the ability to raise debt. We are zero debt. We have 200 million in cash.
So are you looking for a significantly size expanding acquisition?
See, growth will be in multiple ways. Organic growth is still the primary driver of our growth.
Sure. Yeah.
Any inorganic opportunities which are actionable, we will look at them, and of course, we will not overpay.
Yeah.
We'll be prudent about it. But we are not a very acquisitive company as such.
True. Still very conservative. That's the legacy gift, and it's a good one in this day and time. You are also amongst the few Indian companies in China, if I understand correctly.
We do have a presence in China.
Yes. What has that experience been like? What can you share with us in terms of learnings from that market, and how big that business can eventually grow?
The Chinese business is quite significant for us. It's over $100 million now. We have a joint venture there which markets our products. We also have a facility there which makes our products. And then we're also directly registering some of the products, and these products, if they're not of interest to our JV partner or the JV entity, we do sign up with other local companies.
Right.
So it's early stages. It's about $100+ million for us, and it's growing rapidly. But the country has its regulations. It has its unique nuances in terms of tenders and all of that. But the basics of being first to market, having a low cost structure, launching on time, and being able to scale is important like any other market.
Okay, so that 100 million could become what in a year or two?
I think it's more than 100 million. I don't recollect the exact number.
No,
it was $100 million even a couple of years ago.
It's cold right now, and we've kept you waiting, discussing the China market in this cold.
Yeah.
But what kind of growth do you expect now?
Growth is double digit there. Yeah.
So China will eventually also become a significant market for you?
It will.
It will.
Yeah.
At this point in time, the trend seems to suggest.
Yes, of course, it's early days now.
Okay. I must ask, I'm a little confused about what the status is with your Russia supplies. Because at one point I was reading that you've seen rapid growth in Russia. And then I read that you've pulled back some products from Russia. So I wasn't sure.
No.
Could you clarify for me?
So we haven't pulled back from Russia. We have also.
No, you haven't pulled back business from Russia.
Yeah.
But I believe some supplies you have sort of stopped.
Not at all. No, we haven't stopped anything. Okay. We are committed to the patients anywhere in the world.
High growth in Russia, I think somewhere.
The last quarter was good because some of the companies stocked up on the product.
Correct.
But I think it's going to normalize this quarter. The market is going well. There is no disruption. We are supplying. Payments are coming. So we're not concerned about the geopolitics issue. We are more committed to our patients, and we'll continue to supply to that market. We're also a player in Ukraine, and we have found ways to supply the market there also.
Yeah. No, I'm not trying to be political here. Yeah. I just remember seeing the growth rates as being fairly significant. Yeah. And so I was curious if that is again
the Russian market continues to grow for us. And we are growing better than the market.
What will your revenue pie look like in 2 or 3 years from now?
So it's about 9% now. And
that's just Russia.
Russia. Yeah. For the overall
and then China, India, and the US?
The major markets are, the US is still the largest market.
Yes,
the next biggest market is India. Then we have Russia.
Yes.
And then we have Europe. So all these markets are
So
growth
you
markets for
expect
us.
this share to remain not very
Yes,
different in the next 2 or
it
3
should
years?
remain the same, more or less.
Okay. Uh,
The share of the US, relatively speaking, may go down, may go up a little, depending on the year, depending on the launches.
okay, fair enough. You have a very robust pipeline of products across these markets, right? Can you give us some visibility on what it's like? And
We don't give that level of granular details.
but okay, so, you
We
may
do have a
be,
robust pipeline.
I know. Well, thank you. But maybe some, elaboration on what kind of growth you expect. Because from everything I read in here, especially analyst
Yeah.
reports, they seem to be very optimistic of the kind
There are
of
some
growth.
exciting products. Later on this year, we're going to launch lenalidomide, and that is going to drive growth for this year. How long it's going
That's
to
a
sustain?
key US product.
That's
right?
a key launch for
Yeah,
the US.
yeah.
So that's the information which is in public domain anyway.
Yes, that's how I knew it was a key US product.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else you can share with us?
Not at this time, but we continue to invest in building a strong pipeline across all markets.
Okay, and the latest on your, FDA inspection in the plant, given that there, I think, were 8 observations from what I remember
so
correctly.
we are supplying product from
Anything
there. We are
further
getting
in terms of an update?
no update as such. It's there's nothing which is a showstopper there. The products are being shipped, and we've got approvals from that site also.
Okay, so where do you see the bulk of the growth coming from, sir?
So it's
In
going
terms
to
of
be
new products.
yeah. So the
that
US
investors can
the
look
US
forward
is
to.
still a growth market
Of
for
course,
us this
yes,
year,
yeah.
and then the emerging markets. API was degrowing last year, but we hope to turn it around this year.
Biosimilars?
Biosimilars, I think, will be at the medium term, not immediately. We'll see some
How
revenues.
big an opportunity is that?
Biosimilars is a large opportunity, but it's not easy to capture that market because the US, you still need to detail the market. It has to be sold as a brand, it has to be prescribed, and that
So we're at least 2 or 3 years away from
Yeah.
you being able to
yeah,
build
so
any traction in that. Is
in
it?
the US, but I
In-
think Europe should start faster than that.
So
Yeah.
you can't give me any more detail on the kind of opportunity biosimilars will be for Dr. Reddy's. Not
in the
generally
pub-
speaking, I know how large an opportunity is.
Yeah, it's at this time at that level.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank
Prasad,
you.
for speaking with us here in Davos. You have a good trip, the rest of it.
Thank you
I'm
so
sorry
much.
for freezing you in the cold today.
No, it's okay.
Thanks for